We'd like to go over the installation of the Ross Canister Moisture Control System. It can be purchased as a complete kit with the Ross bag, which is a very, very good bag with a suede outer cover giving you some weight and some control, or it can be purchased separately as just the moisture control kit. It's an effective moisture control system and can be used in any pipe bag that has a zipper to allow you to the inside of the pipe bag. For many years, the Ross moisture control system was a series of hoses with a suction cup effect that went over the base of the stock and then was taped in semi-permanently while you used your bagpipe. Today, the Ross system has a hose system that is a kind of a quick change. It's a very effective and very easy to install and to take out when you would like. What you would like to do to install the Ross Canister System is by taking your stocks, and we want to apply the hoses to the individual stocks. And what we're looking at is an insertion into the base of the stock, and then upon a clockwise screwing motion, you will get it to bite to the interior, and it'll become a suction or a compression against the interior of the stock wall. To take it out, it's just an opposite effect where you loosen it and it pulls right out. This would allow you to use it on any pipe bag that, again, has a zipper mechanism to allow you to get to the interior. It's just a very easy insertion and a turn, and we don't want to overturn. It's just a good compression against the inside wall of the stock. It will become important to make sure we know which hose is going towards which individual drone. The Channer one is somewhat obvious in the fact that it is a longer hose, so the Channer is an easy one. But we do want to make a point of knowing which hose is going to which drone. At this point, you may want to take a colored marker, some color tape, or even just to mark base, inside, outside tenor on the base of the actual hose. On the Ross Canister, you have the outlet ports which are color coded. In the past, those color codes dealt with the individual hose, and you would know which hose went to which drone. In this case now, again, we will mark each one to coordinate to the actual color code. Base being blue, inside tenor being yellow, and outside tenor being gray. Normally, the installation of your Ross Canister System would be to the inside of a pipe bag and into the stocks from into the interior of your bag. But for the purpose of this demonstration, we will be doing it outside the pipe bag. But as I said, normally you would install these inside, in through the bag, and the whole system is constructed on the interior. But for purposes of demonstration, we're going to do this out in the open so we see exactly how this works. What we want to do at this point is take your hose, make it a snug fit by turning it by hand, so we get a snug fit as it goes into the inside of the drone stock. Once we get that snug fit, what we want to do is just turn it till we get a good bite or compression on the inside wall of the stock. Don't overturn it. We can put too much pressure on it. You could break the actual fitting. So it's gonna be a good fit if you just get it nice and snug. What you want to do at that point is go on with the other 3 drones. Again, making sure you know which one's the base and the inner and the outer tenors. It's that easy to lock them in. Now again, this would all be inside of the pipe bag, which is going to be a little clumsier because the hoses will be going in all directions. At that point in time, that's when we're going to want to know that the base stock is going into the base port on the actual canister system, being blue base. What I personally like to do at this point is I like to just put a dab of soap on the outlet ports so that when you come in with your hose, you get a nice smooth fitting onto the canister outlet port. At that point, you can come back in and you're doing the same thing with the two tenors. So we create a system like this inside your pipe bag. The canister has vent holes in the back where the air is dried before it moves on through to the drone reeds. The chanter stock happens to be the longer of the hoses. The same idea for insertion, where you're just going to tighten it up a bit and then lock it in so we get a good bite on that. Then we come back in and snug all the hoses onto the outlet ports. To go over some of the features of the canister itself, a couple of things we need to watch out for. What we're dealing with is it's a clay-based drying agent. So dust and chips do show up periodically. It's good to remove those from the system before you actually use your Ross Canister System. We want to cut down on the dust. We want to cut down on the chips that could fly through and ever get to the reeds. This is a little bit of maintenance on the piper's standpoint, from this piper's standpoint, and it's something you should be doing every time you go to play your pipes. One of the first things we like to do with the canister before playing is we want to blow fresh air through the canister, eliminating as much dust as we can before we go to play the actual bagpipe. And that can be easily done by putting it up to your mouth. When they dry off, dust does occur. And by doing this, you're blowing off excess dust that would have normally gone through and rushed into your drone reeds or your chanter reed, possibly affecting their performance. By doing that twice, I've kind of guaranteed that I've eliminated any possible dust moving through to the system. Another tip for your canister, your drying canister, is to periodically get a piece of hardware cloth from a local hardware store and screen the actual drying agent to help remove any small chips. We only want the largest possible pieces to stay inside of the canister system itself. As you use your canister system over years, the actual drying agent will deteriorate and become smaller. It'll actually break down. So by every 6 months to a year, dumping this out and screening it so that you remove any small chips or bits of dust helps the performance of the system over the lifetime of that system. To install your canister into the outlet ports, it is on a sliding track, and it's a very easy installation. You may notice that the track itself is on a wedge with a wider end and a very thin end. The track itself has that same corresponding wedge, so there is only one way to properly install the canister into the system. You cannot put it in the wrong direction. The reasoning behind that is we always want the chanter tube, the base tube, always in line with the canister. So you cannot turn it in and put it in upside down. Bring that all the way in, and then there's an actual locking clip right here, so you know that you have a airtight seal there for your canister system.